We're going to beat the heat today, being that the weather in New York is making us a very, very well done apple. So what do I do to beat the heat? Well, at the top of my list is some sparkling Mexican limeade, una limonada verde, made with fresh squeezed limes. And I have about 2 cups of lime juice here. I'm going to go ahead and use half of that. A little more. And to that I'm going to add, so that's 1 cup of fresh squeezed lime juice. And I'm going to add, to start, a half a cup of sugar. And then we're going to mix well. What I like to do with my sugar when I make limeade like this is I like to put a vanilla bean inside the sugar canister and let it just perfume the sugar, which gives you like an extra bonus, a nice little perfume treat. And we're going to stir it around. The lime juice is room temperature. I find that if you add sugar to cold liquids, it's that much more difficult to melt it. So we'll just make sure that most of our sugar is dissolved. That's looking pretty good. And then I'm going to go ahead and add our sparkling water. And we're going to add 2 liters and then taste. And we'll adjust the taste, the sweetness or the tartness accordingly. It's perfect just the way it is. Not too sweet, not too tart. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you a really delicious, no muss, no fuss pasta dish for summer entertaining. So for our pasta dish, I'm going to start out with about a half a cup or so of extra virgin olive oil. And to that, I'm going to add 2 heads of thinly sliced fennel. And you know, when you cut fennel, you have it. And then you cut that big, thick core out of the center so that the leaves and when you slice it, the leaves fall away from each other. I'm going to go ahead and add that fennel to the olive oil. And this really is a really nice, light, bright dish. I have that on high heat. I want it to cook fairly quickly. There's not a whole lot of color, but I want the fennel to become tender. And fennel lends a nice, light sweetness, almost like a licorice note to your dish. And you're going to see where I'm going with this. What's great about this is you could serve it hot right out of the pot, or you could let it sit for a little while and let it come to a little more like room temperature. Delicious on a hot day. You could go ahead and add to this either the nice feathery fronds from the fennel heads that look like this, and the taste, they have a little bit of like, almost like it tastes like licorice. Really, really pretty. Or you could play with something like, and this is what I'm going to be doing, adding some fresh basil out of the garden. You can always find basil in my garden right next to the cilantro and the ajis, the hot peppers. If you find that you come across like any big pieces of fennel, just slice it thin with your knife. Still working at high heat. I'm looking at the timer and I have 4 minutes, so I'm going to bring the shrimp over here, but I'm not, this is 2 pounds of shrimp. I had jumbo shrimp in my refrigerator, so I chopped them up into like 3 or 4 pieces. You can certainly use a smaller shrimp, U25s or U36, anything like that you happen to have, and then you don't have to chop them up. Okay, let's go ahead and add the shrimp. Okay, the shrimp are almost done. Now I'm going to add the zest from 2 lemons, just the outside yellow part. And that's really going to add a beautiful brightness to the dish. Real complementary flavor to both the shrimp and the fennel. And we're going to toss it well. And I'm just going to add a little bit of chicken stock. If you have clam juice, and now I'm going to lower the heat. because I don't want those shrimp to get away from me. And the pasta has 1 minute left on it. Okay, also I want to add, because you know me, just a little bit of red pepper flakes to give it a little, all that sweetness, you want a little contrast. So just a little red pepper. Great. Awesome. And then right after, once we mix the pasta with the sauce, I'm just going to throw some fresh basil leaves right on there and just let them wilt and release their perfume right onto the pasta, which we should be checking right about now. Perfect. Okay, excellent. Just another little touch of olive oil. I love raw olive oil. It tastes so just yummy. And then we're just going to right on top of the pasta. We're going to give it a little toss to make sure that all of that olive oil and the stock dresses the pasta. And I'm going to go ahead and add my basil. I'm just going to tear some leaves right on there. Love that. Right out of the garden. And that is my delicious pasta dish. You're going to come back in a second and I'll toast to you. Okay, so we're ready to dig in. My pasta with fennel and shrimp. And you can also, I know the old credo about cheese with seafood, but it really lends itself beautifully to the sweetness of the fennel and the tartness of the lemon. That nice, sharp, bright. My mouth is watering. That's really good. Nice chunks of delicious sweet shrimp. I'm going to wash it down with some Mexican limeade. That's refreshing. Buen provecho.